Hi, in this lecture we are going to see about how mathematical operations can be done in C language. When you are going to do problem solving, there may be requirement like you have to use some built-in functions or some mathematical complicated functions. For example, you want to find out x power y. Okay, I want to find out what will be x power y. Or you may have to find out what is the log value of something, log to the base 10 or log to the base 2 and so on. How it is supported in C languages, we have got a built-in library called as math.h. It has got all the mathematical related built-in functions. So POW is the function which is used for finding out what is x power y. If you want to know more details, in Linux it is possible to use this man command to know the details about the function. So I am going to show that here. I am giving man POW. So when you give like this, it shows you the manual page of Linux programmers, and you can see there is a function here POW which takes two arguments, the value of x as well as y. Okay, when you want to find x power y, the first argument you will give us x and the second argument you will give us y, and it returns the double value. It will find out what is x power y and it is returning it as a double value, right? And similarly there are also other functions like POWF, POWL, but we are not very much interested in this. But you should also note in the manual itself it is given that you have to link using -lm, and in the description part you will get to know about the operation of the functions. So in the description you can see that these functions return value of x raised to power of y. Okay, that is the purpose of the function, right? And there are also more details which you can read or you can just ignore. If you want to come out of the manual, you have to just give q, right? So the first problem what we are going to discuss is about finding compound interest. Okay, you might have heard this is a very popular problem which is used for finding the net amount, right? If you are going to a bank or a financial sector where they are going to do apply compound interest, you have to know how much of amount will be received by the user. Then you will be using this formula. What is the formula is, it consists of four values. P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest, N is the number of times it will be compounded. Okay, so when we say compound interest, generally they will say it is compounded half yearly, quarterly and so on. When we say it is compounded half yearly, then the value of n will be 2. When we say it is compounded quarterly, the value of n will be 4. And t is going to be the number of years for which we are going to make the investment. If you are going to make the investment for 3 years, then t will be 3. Okay, so when you look at the problem, there are 4 input values that you should read. First one is the principal, second one is the rate of interest, third one is the number of times it will be compounded, fourth one is the number of years or the tenure for which the investment is going to be made, right? And this formula will help you to know what is the net amount that will be received by the user. Okay, so let us start writing the code for the compound interest. Already I have made it. I will just rewrite the expression alone for your understanding. I will remove that one. So you see the inclusions. First one is stdio.h. This you should use include for using the input and output function, standard input and output, right? So you have to use this scanf printf means. Then it is required that you have to include this stdio.h, and I am going to use the POW function here because when you look at the formula, it is required to raise to power. Okay, actually it is p into 1 plus r by n the whole power n into t, right? So I have to raise it to power. I am going to use the POW function. So I am including this math.h, and then this is my main function, and look at the declarations of the variables. Principal will be integer and number of times it will be compounded is also going to be integer, and I am using num as the variable name for representing it. And then tenure is the number of years you are going to make the investment, so that is also going to be integer. And then rate of interest, it can be a double value, it can be like 12.5, 10.5 and so on. there may be decimal part in the rate of interest, so I am declaring it as float, and the amount, total amount received also I am going to have it as float. Okay, and this is the interactive statement I am going to give to the user to make him to understand in which order he has to enter the input. So first he has to enter what is the principal amount, next he has to write the rate of interest, third he has to enter the number of times the amount will be compounded, and fourth is the tenure for which he is going to make the investment. And I am using the scanf function. When you use the scanf function, be careful about the format string. The first one what you are going to read is the principal. Look at the data type of principal, it is integer, so you will put %d. Next one is the rate of interest. Rate of interest is float, so you have to use %f. Third one is the number of times it is going to get compounded, so it is going to be %d. And then tenure for which we are making the investment, that is also going to be integer %t, right. So you are going to give the address of the variables. We have already seen how you can give the address of the variable. Just put ampersand before the variable name, right. So ampersand principal, ampersand rate, and so on. And now we are going to find out the amount. So we have to write the expression for it. When we are writing the expression, we should be very careful so that the proper precedence, everything is taken care. What does the formula say is you have to multiply the principal. Okay, you have to multiply the principal by this particular entire thing. Okay, so principal into, okay, I have to use the POW function. What is the first argument of the POW function is 1 plus r by n. So you have to say 1 plus r is rate here, and by, I have to divide it by 100 also, because rate of interest will be in percentage, and when I am including in the formula I have to divide it by 100. Okay, that is very important. So though the formula does not have 100 in the denominator, we have to do it because we know that rate of interest will be entered by the user as percentage, and when you have to find out the amount, you have to divide it by 100, right. So you are saying a by 100 into num. This will be the first argument for power function. You have to find out this 1 plus r by n the whole power n into t, right. So this is the first one, comma, and the second argument will be n into t. N is num here and t is tenure. Okay, so you are going to find out what is the power of 1 plus r by n, comma, nt. Okay, that is power nt, right. So you are going to find out, and you are going to multiply that with principal. Okay, hope this is clear. After finding the amount, we have to print it. So printf net amount received will be, here the value of the variable amount should come. When you look at the data type of amount, it is float, so you will give it as %f and then finish the quotes, and then comma, the name of the variables, whichever value you want to print. Here I am going to print only one value of the variable amount, so you are giving amount. Yeah, so let us go to the terminal and you will say gcc compoundinterest.com. Okay, and you will see this error because you have to link the math library. You have to put -lm. So it's asking you what is the principal amount, 5,000. Rate of interest I am going to give as 12%. Number of times it's going to get compounded 2 times half yearly, and then tenure, if I am going to make it for 3 years, then this will be the total amount that I will get. Net amount received will be this one. Okay, see here you are getting like so many decimal places are coming. If you are interested only in 2, what you can do is you can change the format string here in the print. You can say .2f. Okay, when I say .2f, it will print only 2 decimal places. Otherwise for float, all the 6 is the precision that is followed by C for float. So you will see 6 decimal places are getting printed. For double, 15 decimal places you will see. Okay, so if you want to restrict that, I want to see only 2 decimal places, then you have to give it as .2f in the format string in the print. Let me compile it and execute it. Let me give the same value. 5,000 is the principal, 12% interest, half-yearly compounded, and then 3 is the number of years. So you will see that the way in which it is getting printed is different. Only 2 decimal places are getting printed. Okay, so this is about power function. Next, what we are going to see is about the log function. To understand it, I am going to give another one example, that is, consider a rope. Okay, consider a rope of length n. Okay, there is a rope of length n, and you are going to repeatedly divide it into 2 halves. Okay, I am going to repeatedly divide one of the piece. I am going to repeatedly divide into 2 halves. Okay, then how many times I can cut it? You are going to cut it. So the question is, how many times you can cut it? Okay, so that there is a condition, so that the smallest piece, or we can say, so that length of the smallest piece, is not less than 1. This is the question. So if I give an example, you will understand better. Consider a rope of length 64. When I divide it into 2 halves, you will get 32. When I again divide into 2 halves, I am taking one of the piece and I am dividing it into 2 halves, 16. Again, I will take a piece of length 16 and divide into 2 halves, 8. Now take a piece of length 8 and divide into 2 halves, 4. Now 2. Now 1. I cannot further divide because the length of the rope will become less than 1. Okay, so I am asking you a question, how many times you can cut it so that the smallest piece length will be greater than 1. Okay, maximum number of cut that you can make. So when you look at this problem, actually if you go in the other direction from 1 to 64, you will be raising it to power 2. Okay, that is, if you have a rope of length 1, when you double it, it will become 2, again double it 4, 8, 16 and so on. So 2 power something exponent. When you are going to divide into 2 halves, you will be coming in the opposite direction, that is, logarithmic have to be applied. So when I apply log 2, okay, because you are dividing into 2 halves, I have to apply log to the base 2. So when I apply it for this size, I will get how many times I can cut it. So man log, there is a built-in function log which is present in math.h. Okay, but when you look at the description, it says that these functions return natural logarithm of x. Okay, but I do not want a natural logarithm. I want a logarithm to the base 2. There is a built-in function for log base 2, and I use this log2 function. It will find out what is the base 2 logarithm of x. I can use this, and also there is log base 10. This is also available in math.h. So you can use this function if you want to find log to the base 10. In this problem, actually you want to find out what is log to the base 2. So let us, okay, for time being, let me remove this. Yeah, I want to find out what is log to the base 2. So I am going to ask log 2. And it will return a double. The format string for double is %LF, right? So this problem only looks very big, but the solution is very simple. Okay, this is the C code which can solve you the problem. First line is you are including the standard input output, and then next line is you are including the mathematic library. Okay, and then main you are reading the size of the rope, and then you are going to find out how many times it can be cut. For that we are going to use the log2 built-in function. Pass size as the parameter, it will return you the value, and the value returned is double. Okay, so here in this place I want to print the value. In the string I want to print the value here. I have to give the appropriate format string. Since this log2 will be returning double, I have to give it as %lf. So let me say I have to use -lm here. Okay. Now I am executing. If I give 64, I will get the answer as row should be cut into 6 times. It should be cut 6 times to get the smallest piece. But the point is, I need not have it as 6.000 or something, right? Which is going to be looking very messy. Okay, it should be an integer value. So how you can do is, you can use the explicit type conversion, what we discussed few lectures before, right? So I am going to explicitly convert the value into integer. So when I convert it into integer, I have to give the proper format string there. So I am giving %d, right? So let me compile the code again, right? Okay, and execute it. So now if I give 64, I will get it to, it should be cut into 6 times. Okay, and if I am going to give it as 10, I will see that it can be cut 3 times, so that I will get the smallest piece, right? Okay, and now I make a small variation in the question. What I do is, instead of cutting it into 2 equal halves, I am going to cut it into 3 equal pieces. Okay, I am going to cut it into 3 equal pieces. In that case, what should we do? How can we find the solution? Okay, what I mean here is, if I consider 66, let me consider 66. Okay, I will cut it into 3 pieces, means each piece will be of size 22. I am going to consider one of the piece of size 22 and cut it into 3 pieces, approximately 7. I am not going to now consider the decimal part because that is not significant for me now. I am going to consider 7 alone, 7. Now I try to cut it into 3 pieces. I will get each piece of size some 2 point something. Okay, so if I take and try to cut it into 3 pieces, then I will get length less than 1. Okay, so I will stop the process. So how many times I can cut is 1, 2, 3. Okay, how can I find this is, I have to find log to the base 3. So when you go and check in the terminal whether there is a function, log3, no, I had a function log2 which will give me the logarithmic value to the base 2, but I don't have log3. So how can I do? For this we have to use the concept of logarithms. We have to use little more concept of logarithms. What you can do is, you can just apply log of size. When you apply log of size, you will get the natural logarithm for size divided by log of 3. I want it for base 3, means divided by log of 3. Then you will get to the base 3. Okay, this is the concept. Hope it is clear. I want to find out what is log base 3 of size, but I don't have a function. For that, what I am doing is, I am finding out what is natural logarithm of size, okay, and then divided by natural logarithm of 3. Okay, I am using the concept of logarithms for solving it, right? So I can find out, if I give 66, you see that it can be cut 3 times. Yeah, it's 3 times. And 81, if I give, I will get 4 times, and 245, because 243 is 5. 3 power 5 is 243. So you will see that when I give greater than 243, I will get 5. Okay, and so on, right? This is how you can use built-in functions. There are also many functions like sine, you can see it. Okay, when you want to find sine, that is a built-in function. And when you want to find cos, there is a built-in function. For tan, it is available, tan h, sin h. For most of the mathematical operations, built-in functions are provided in C in the library math.h. So we can simply include the header file and we can do the things appropriately in C language. Okay, thank you.